If you love dies with specialty edges, like the new Spellbinders Postage Edge shapes, but you want to come up with some creative ways to use them, then this video is for you. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel, and in today's video I have two different sets of the Postage Edge shape dies from Spellbinders. Sets of dies like this can get a little bit pricey, so I really like to find different ways to use them so they have more bang for their buck. So I found 5 different ways to use these special postage edge shape dies. The first way really works with any kind of nested die, but it looks even better with a specialty edge die, and that is to create a grid with the smallest of the shapes that are available. So I cut out the smallest circle. Now the smallest circle doesn't have the postage edge, it has a little dot edge, but either way it creates a little extra special something to the edge of the dies to make that grid even more interesting. I am going to use some stamps from Spellbinders to stamp Happy Birthday. I'm using Versamark ink on black cardstock and some white embossing powder. Just tap that off. Make sure you use anti-static powder tool and heat set that, and you've got a really impactful statement there with that happy birthday. So this sentiment is going to pop off the background. The nice thing about this technique is you can use pattern paper, you can use cardstock, you can use one color, you can use many colors. Of course, I had to make a rainbow. I mean, come on, but you could use monochromatic. You could use so many different ways to create this card and customize it for your recipient. I am going to use some black foam squares to pop up that happy birthday, which I did cut down into kind of a sentiment strip. Really easy card, but really uses up those small dies. The next way to use especially a special edge like this is to use that special edge to tie some twine around it. So this time I'm using the Slimline postage dies, and again they go back and forth between a regular slimline rectangle with the dots around the edge and then a slightly larger postage edge rectangle, and I am going to use some Spellbinders dies to create flowers and a little hello sentiment as well. So I'm going to use the different rectangles to mat on top of each other. That's going to make the outside of this card that specialty postage edge, and that's how I'm going to use it to tie the twine. I'm actually using cord this time. This is from Spellbinders. This is their white cord, and you can see that I can wrap the cord and hook it around the edge of that postage edge, and it just stays in place because of those little divots in the edge of the die on the outside, the die cut on the outside. So it really holds a wrapped twine or cord in place and really looks kind of cute. The next way to use these type of dies is to layer them up. So I'm going to again use the Slimline postage dies. I have 3 this time. So I have a large rectangle in a dark blue, I have a postage edge shape in a lighter blue, and then I have the yellow in the rectangle with the little dots around the side. So I'm going to layer these on top of each other, and they're just meant to layer. So when you have a whole set like this, you can use 2 or 3 or even 4 and more to layer them up, and again use any colors that you want. I am going to use some die cuts and chipboard from a recent Spellbinders kit to complete this card. Another way that I love to use any nested dies again is to create a shaped card. If you have specialty edge dies, that shaped card becomes even more special. So a circular card is fun, but a postage edge circular card is even more fun. So I'm going to fold an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock in half, and I'm going to use a bone folder to make sure that fold is nice. I'm going to tape the die in place with some of the die hanging off the fold. The fold will not cut because the die was hanging off of it at the top there, and that's going to create my shaped card. But the thing is, I don't like necessarily to see that flat edge at the top, so I'm going to cut another piece, this time pattern paper, out of that same size postage circle, and then I'm going to use some tape runner to adhere it on top. And I love this technique because you get a white card base and it's shaped, and then you get to cover it up and customize it with either cardstock color or pattern paper. I'm going to use some more elements from that same kit. I will link to it down below in the YouTube description box under the video. Just some chipboard and die cuts again, and a little sentiment that says, "Oh, happy day," and just a really cute little card, and I love that shape. I'm going to use the twine technique again. It's going to hook around the sides there, which I wouldn't be able to do normally on a circle, but because that postage edge, it really holds on to that cord or twine. If you wrap it around, you can tie a bow, and it just kind of completes that card. Another way that I love to use these die cuts is to die cut and then emboss. So you want to do your die cutting first because you want your embossing to be nice and dimensional. So I cut a background that's the darker pink in the postage edge, and then I cut a circle with the little dots, and I'm going to put that inside an embossing folder. And you can see when it comes out, you still see the edge with the little dots, and then it's got those big puffy dots also. So I'm going to adhere down the postage edge circle that I have there on an A2 piece of white cardstock. I'm going to use some tape runner on the back of the embossed circle. Just love the way that looks. It just completely changes the look of these layers when you add that dry embossing to it. I did stamp a sentiment that says, "I appreciate you," and I'm going to cut it out with a flag, which I'm going to pop up on some foam tape. And once I have my sentiment placed down in the center of this circle, you don't need much more here, but I decided to go back to that white cord and cut a little piece and then tie a little bow on the end of that flag. Now, yes, you could have this flag up and down so it's hanging, but I don't mind it on the side like this, especially because we are tying that little bow on the side. I think it looks super cute. Just adds a little bit more texture and interest to this otherwise very super simple card. So I'm going to cut those ends. How cute and easy was that? I love nested dies like this where you get lots of sizes in one die set, but these postage edge shapes are really something else. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. Edge stamps. Okay, but wait, I had more to say. It like went so slowly that I thought I was done. Okay, wrap it up. So close. I love, what do you love? Spit it out.